Welcome once again to another edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews online. As always, I do thank you for your time in watching my video, and hopefully you do find it informative. And the book that I'm reviewing for you today is In the Groove, the Vinyl, Record, and Turntable Revolution. This is published by Motor Books, and it retails for $53. And by the way, the authors, and there are 5 of them, I've written them down, my memory's not that great. It is written by Matt Annis, Gillian Garr, Ken McAuliffe, Martin Popoff, and Richie Unterberger. It took 5 people to write this book, and these 5 people know what they're talking about. This is an amazing book. If you grew up with vinyl records, as I did back in the 60s, you will certainly find a lot of interest in the book. But it just doesn't talk about the 50s or 60s. It talks about the absolute history of the vinyl record. And there were 10 and 12-inch vinyl records that were first, they tried them. They came out November 17th, 1931. And they really didn't last very long because the sound quality was not that good. But it was Columbia Records that decided that they wanted to test drive, if you will, the LP. And on June the 18th, 1948, they released over 100 LPs, most of them classical. There were some children's and a little bit of what you might call at the time pop music, but it was mainly classical. And it really caught on. People loved this LP because it contained a lot of songs. But it was RCA Victor. They had to get into the game as well. And so they decided to release the 7-inch 45 as sort of competition to the 12-inch LP of Columbia. Now, of course, the other record labels that were starting to emerge were not going to just lay down and accept this. So Decca and Capitol Records came on the scene, and they released 7 and 12-inch records, the LP and the 45. So as they say, the rest is history. This led the vinyl revolution and the evolution of the vinyl record. Now in the meantime, the 78, which had been the staple of the record industry, was sort of on its way to extinction. It was being phased out by this newfangled LP and 45. Now people still say that the 78 had superior sound to all other records, but the problem was they were heavy and they were very fragile. So eventually they were phased out. But this book really goes into detail about all the companies that released vinyl records. And they also talked about such labels as Stax, the Immediate Label, and Island Records, amongst others. Plus, they talk about the key vinyl stores that sold vinyl, new or used records back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. A lot of them are no longer with us. They've been phased out over time. But still, the authors have really put so much effort into this book. They also talk about classic LP covers, the best of the covers. Of course, when we got the CDs, we didn't have the same sort of fold outs that we got with the LPs. And people miss that. Like Jethro Tull's Thick as a Brick was like a fold down. It was like a newspaper. And it also, this book, besides talking about the greatest covers, they also talk about how to care for your vinyl. And there's also a way to grade your vinyl if you want to sell it or if you're buying it, how it's graded. So plus, let's not forget, the turntable is also mentioned as well too, because you wouldn't have, you can't play your vinyl records without a turntable. Now today, of course, the CDs have replaced a lot of that, but vinyl is making a comeback. Over the last 5 or 6 years, people are returning to vinyl. They are some of the record labels are creating vinyl LPs. Of course, they're a lot more pricier than they were back in the day, in my day, when you could get $2.99, $3.99, and $4.99. But they're a lot more sophisticated in the pressing of them, and the turntables are also of a higher quality than they were in my day as well. So if you're looking for a book that is groovy, pick up In the Groove, because if you love vinyl, as I did, well, I still do, of course. I still have a large collection of vinyl, LPs and 45s. This is definitely a book that traces the history, and it's absolutely fascinating. It's a book you will want to add to your coffee table without question. So if you do purchase it, please let me know whether you do agree with my review. So thank you for watching. I will be back with another book very, very shortly. So until we meet again, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.